Life for the Adewale siblings continued with its usual rhythms, a mixture of hope, faith, and everyday challenges and victories. Tinu's journey toward love was guided by patience and her brother Bayo's quiet support, while Bayo himself excelled in his career, providing a steady example of faithfulness and integrity. But for Lola, life in Abuja carried an undercurrent she could no longer ignore. The early warmth of her marriage had begun to cool. Daniel's compliments and attentions, once frequent and heartfelt, now came sporadically, and often accompanied by subtle criticisms. Sometimes it was a passing comment about her family. Other times a sharp reminder of expectations she felt powerless to meet. Lola tried to dismiss the sting, telling herself it was minor, that love and prayer could carry them through. She whispered her daily prayers with a heart full of hope. Lord, guide my heart. Let patience, understanding, and love remain in our home. Help me honor my husband and trust your plan. Yet the small cracks were growing. Even in moments of tenderness, a soft touch or a fleeting smile from Daniel, Lola could sense tension lingering just beneath the surface. The weight of expectations from his relatives, the occasional pointed remark about her upbringing, and the subtle comparisons to others began to press down on her spirit. At home, she tried to maintain a facade of composure. She smiled at her surroundings, tended to her daily tasks, and reminded herself of the love she still carried for Daniel. She leaned on her faith, drawing strength from the lessons life had taught her, from Bayo's quiet guidance and from memories of home. But in quiet moments, Lola admitted to herself that worry had begun to take root. What if the tensions grew? What if love alone wasn't enough? She sighed softly, clutching a photograph of her family. She knew God was faithful, and she trusted him, but a shadow of uncertainty had entered her heart. The first real shadow of struggle that would soon deepen into trials she could not ignore. And so, Lola braced herself, holding on to hope, trusting in faith, and preparing unknowingly for the storms that were about to shake her deeply if care is not taken. Life continued to unfold for the Adewale siblings, each facing their own challenges yet finding strength in faith and family. Tinu, despite her beauty, intelligence, and good character, had yet to find a man willing to marry her because of her family background. The polygamy and remarriage that haunted her past in the eyes of others. Each disappointment left her discouraged, and her heart often ached. Bayo, however, had grown into a wise and thoughtful man, both successful in his career and grounded in faith. Seeing his sister struggle in matters of love weighed on him. He knew her worth, her diligence, and her faithfulness, and he could not watch her remain heartbroken while waiting for the right person. After much prayer and counsel, Bayo made a decision. Lord, I will trust you to guide me, but I will also do my part. If you have the right person for Tinu, help me to connect her with someone worthy. Someone who will honor her and not judge her by the past of her parents. He began speaking to a trusted Christian friend and colleague, a man he knew to be honorable, kind, and sincere in faith. Bayo carefully explained Tinu's virtues and her story, emphasizing her integrity, intelligence, and devotion to God. When Tinu learned of Bayo's plan, she was initially hesitant. Bayo, I don't want to rush into anything, she said softly. I've been hurt before, and I don't want to be pressured. Bayo smiled, gently reassuring her. Sister, I'm not forcing you. You can decide what happens from there. God's timing is still perfect. Tinu felt her heart lighten. She knew her brother's heart was in the right place, wanting the best for her, and she trusted his judgment. Meanwhile, Bayo continued to excel in his career, his life a model of perseverance, faith, and integrity. His sisters drew strength from him. Lola in her hostile marriage, and Tinu in her search for love. You are truly a blessing, Bayo, Tinu whispered one evening over the phone. I don't know what I would do without your support. Bayo chuckled softly. Sister, family is everything. God has kept us close for a reason. She felt hope stirring in her heart again, ready to see God's plan unfold, knowing she was not walking this journey alone. Tinu's heart was cautiously hopeful as she prepared to meet the man Bayo had recommended. She reminded herself that she was not being pressured. This was merely an introduction, a chance to see if God's guidance might lead her to someone who would honor her heart and faith. From the moment they met, she sensed something different. His demeanor radiated humility and reverence. He spoke not just with words, but with the conviction of a man who truly feared God and lived his word. I believe God guides every step we take, he said, softly but firmly. I try to hear his voice in both the scriptures and in my daily life. I may not be perfect, but I seek to obey him fully, in thought, word, and action. Tinu was struck. He wasn't just a reader or hearer of the word. He was a doer. Every sentence reflected someone whose faith was active, who walked in obedience, and who saw others through God's eyes. She felt a sense of safety and peace she had never known. I feel safe with you, Tinu admitted, her voice quiet. Not just because of what you say, but because of how you live it. He smiled, humbled. I pray that my life honors God. He is perfect, not me. But his love teaches me how to see people as he sees them. Over the following weeks, Tinu and the man continued to meet, taking slow, deliberate steps in building trust. He always emphasized patience, obedience to God, and prayerful decision-making. One afternoon, as they walked through a quiet garden, he turned to her. Tinu, I want you to take your time. We will move only as God directs. Every choice we make will be prayerful and guided by his word, both Logos and Rhema. Tinu's heart lightened. I've been hurt before, she admitted, but I feel safe with you. I trust that God is in this. He nodded. And that trust is exactly where it begins. God's guidance always comes before anything else. Meanwhile, Lola continued to face the challenges of her marriage. Her husband's impatience and criticism weighed heavily on her, yet she drew strength from her siblings. Seeing Tinu finding a man who genuinely lived by God's word inspired Lola to cling to her own faith. Lord, she prayed one night, help me hold my ground with your wisdom. Help me act in love but not in fear. Guide me as you guide Tinu in her journey. For Tinu, each conversation with this man revealed a man whose faith was alive and actionable, who obeyed God's instructions in both the written word and the prompting of his spirit. His heart was aligned with God's, and that alignment made Tinu feel secure, valued, and seen as God saw her, not defined by her past but by her character, her faith, and her heart. And Bayo, watching his sisters with quiet pride, knew God was at work. Tinu's heart was beginning to heal and trust again, while Lola's strength and faith continued to grow. In the midst of trials, the Aidwale family clung to one truth: God's timing and guidance never fail.